You mentioned Marshawn Lloyd. I wanted to play this segment of yesterday's press conference with uh, Marcus Satterfield because I think it's a really interesting insight into what we've seen so far from Marshawn Lloyd and
Yeah.
possibly what we might see, like you're talking about. Here's offensive coordinator Marcus
I
Satterfield.
think he, like a lot of young players, came in and was highly regarded as he should have been. He had the injury. He gets back last year. Things aren't just happening as fast as they need to. He put a lot of pressure on himself. To me, I see it more of a obviously mature because it's his third year in school, but just confidence, understanding of who he is. He's not as he puts pressure on himself to be elite, but last year it was just like if it's not a home run, he's just in his head a little bit. So I think he's like Josh, is just a total different dude than he was at the end of the season, just from a mental standpoint. He's sharp. He about bit my head off today in backfield. I was like, relax. I was trying to take him out, so just kind of save his legs, and he about hit me. So I love his mindset, and he's everything good about what a college football student athlete should be.
That's awesome.
Again, a great reminder of why you let your coordinator speak every week in college football. Sorry, that's I'm still working through a lot of Muschamp baggage here, Mike. Still working through that, but it does tell me about the mindset, the fact that they had that interaction. That Lloyd is that kind of competitor, man. Just gives you more of an insight. I know he's been featured a lot on that Welcome Home series there this preseason as well. There is a lot of talk around him, and that internal pressure we just heard about from Satterfield there. And he was talking about Josh Van when he mentioned Josh too, just being pushed by the other receivers and having to have a bit more mature mindset, man. I think those two go hand in hand. I originally asked you about Rattler, right? But you brought up Marshawn Lloyd in the run game. If Carolina can't run, it's going to be very difficult for Spencer Rattler to go out and win them games.
Yeah.
If Marshawn Lloyd has a good year, I think Spencer Rattler is going to have a good year, and I think we're going to know it week one, Mike. If they can't run the ball on Georgia State, they ain't running it on anybody else. Maybe outside of South Carolina State and Charlotte, you got to be able to move their defensive line where you do have the advantage, like you're talking about, and then you have a chance. It doesn't mean you're going to have a great year, but you have a chance to have a good year if you can do it in week one.
Yeah, no, 100%. And again, to your point, I mean, if you can't push Georgia State, then yeah, you're screwed against Georgia. So yeah, but that's what I want, and I don't want to see a vanilla offense per se, but I mean, it's maybe I'm just thinking about it too much. I don't know. But if I'm Beamer, look, you've got Arkansas and Georgia, these next 2 weeks after Georgia State. So I mean, I think you gotta save some of your plays. You got to rely on that run game, right? Like I know they want to go out and show maybe a sold out crowd at Willie B what Spencer can do, and I think they're going to let him air it out. But I don't know if they're going to put up 52.
Sure.
Like I don't really see that happening. But yeah, no, Marsha, you're exactly right. Like we will definitely know the state of Marshawn Lloyd, that offensive line, and that run game at 11:30 on Saturday night for sure.
Chris on Facebook Live says, I think Marshawn Lloyd getting most of the reps at RB1, he'll get in a groove and get hot. And if Spencer Rattler and Lloyd both have good years, that means the offensive line is having a good one as well. Craig's saying Lloyd's on a mission this year. Daddy-O saying a running back who can do backflips after knee injury seems good to go to me. Yeah, the athleticism is not in question, man. And to me, he's such an impressive dude when you talk to him. You mentioned him looking you in the eye, and he is really good at expressing himself. I think a lot better than a lot of football players are, especially at his age.
Oh yeah.
And to see how he reacts now to this season after hearing what Marcus Satterfield just told us about the pressure that he puts on himself and just the maturity now. If he can be able to relax and play football and kind of let those things come, then I think we might see him take that next step that is really going to be necessary, I think, in a lot of ways for the Gamecocks to be good.
My favorite part of that interview with him, I mean, dude, he basically said, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but he said, I took my knee brace, right? And this was the night before fall camp started.
Yep.
He took his knee brace and he went home, took it out of his locker, right, at USC, went home, threw it in his closet, and put like a bunch of boxes on top of the knee brace so that there was a quote from him, no bad juju.
Right. Well,
Um,
didn't he preface all this by saying, I'm a manifestation kind of
yeah,
guy,
yeah,
right? I mean, that sums him up real well. He's a thinker, and then actions like represent more than just throwing that knee brace in there. That was, hey, that chapter's closed, man. We're moving on, and I'm back kind of deal.
yeah.
How you got to do it on the field, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, and again, I think a lot of people who have never torn and me included, but when you tear an ACL, I think it takes a long time for you to trust your body again, trust your knee, and when you're having to make cuts like running backs do, I mean, that's a really hard position to play after a torn ACL. So I think now 2 years removed, I think you can just see it. Like he's a lot more confident. And again, like he said, he feels better than he did coming out of high school. So I'm really hoping that we get to see him hurdle a safety. I really, really hope that we get to see that because that will be phenomenal.